The Galactic Council chamber floated above a blue star, wide and circular, built to remind every species inside it that no single world owned the galaxy. Light moved through the air like slow water, changing color as different languages were spoken. Rows of seats curved upward, each designed for a different body shape. Some were filled with tall figures wrapped in crystal robes. Others held beings of metal, gas, or flesh. At the very bottom, near the center floor, sat a small human delegation. Ambassador Han Juan stood alone. He was not tall by galactic standards. He did not glow. He did not have multiple limbs or a voice that echoed without effort. He wore a simple dark suit, the kind used on Earth for serious meetings, and his hands rested calmly behind his back. His face was still, his eyes focused on the council ring above him. The room was loud with confidence. A massive figure leaned forward from a high seat, its voice amplified by the chamber itself. "The vote has already passed," it said. "The coalition fleets will move within one rotation." Several council members expressed approval. Some clicked their mandibles. Others released warm clouds of approval gas. A few laughed, sharp and open. Without shame, one of them gestured toward the human ambassador. "Why is the Earth representative still here?" A thin, floating counselor asked. "The matter is decided." Honjuan did not move. The Supreme Counselor Larek rose slowly from his central platform. His species was old, both in age and reputation. His skin looked like dark stone, cracked with lines that glowed faintly. When he spoke, the chamber quieted, not from respect, but from habit. The human presence was permitted as courtesy, Larek said. Earth is a recognized developing world. It is proper they witness the process. A ripple of amusement passed through the council. "Witness their own end," someone said. Another voice added they should be grateful. Few worlds receive such attention. Han Juan finally stepped forward. His shoes made a small sound against the polished floor, almost lost in the vast space. He raised his head slightly and the translator field caught his voice, spreading it clearly in every language at once. "Earth did not ask for this vote," he said. The words were simple. Too simple, some thought. A few council members looked confused, as if waiting for something more dramatic. Larek tilted his head. "Earth was not required to ask. The Coalition has identified your world as strategically useful and weakly defended. That combination invites action." Huan nodded once. "You believe Earth is weak?" It caused laughter. Real laughter, loud and careless. "We have studied your transmissions," said another counselor, one with 6 eyes and a long, flexible neck. "Your species fights itself constantly. Borders, beliefs, resources. You cannot even agree on truth. How could you resist a unified force?" Images appeared in the air. Old human wars. Cities burning. Soldiers moving through ruins. The council had selected these images carefully, stripping them of context. Freezing humanity at its worst moments, Han Juan watched without reaction. "Yes," he said. "Humans fight each other." A pause. "But we also learn from it." Laughter faded slightly, replaced by mild interest. Larek raised one heavy hand. "Ambassador, this is not a debate. The fleets are already prepared. Your world will be occupied, its resources cataloged, its population controlled. In time, Earth may even benefit from inclusion." "In time," Han repeated. He looked around the chamber. Hundreds of eyes, lenses, and sensory organs focused on him now. Some with curiosity, some with hunger, some with boredom. "You see our past," he said, "but you do not see our habits." The counselor near the upper ring scoffed. "We see enough." Han Juan's voice remained level. "Humans do not respond well to being decided for—" That drew another wave of laughter. One council member leaned forward eagerly. "Is that a threat?" "No," Han said. "It is a warning." Silence fell, brief but noticeable. La Rek studied him. "You are very calm for someone facing extinction." Han met his gaze. "Earth is not facing extinction." A sharp sound echoed as someone struck their armrest. "Enough. This is pointless." Larek raised his hand again. "Let him finish." Han Juan took a slow breath. He did not speak of weapons. He did not list numbers. He did not beg. You believe strength is measured by unity alone, he said? By fleets, by obedience, by age. Humans measure strength differently. And how is that? Larrick asked. Han answered without hesitation. By response. The word hung in the air. When humans are left alone, Han continued, we argue. We waste time. We make mistakes. But when we are threatened from the outside, something changes. Images shifted again. This time, the Council system pulled them from live human data streams. Emergency drills. Evacuation plans. Engineers working through the night. Soldiers training together who, days before, had been enemies in name only. These are not ordered, Han said. No single leader commands them all. This is habit. This is memory, the six-eyed counselor frowned. You are describing chaos, as Han replied. Controlled chaos, Larrick leaned back slightly. Even if that were true, it would not matter. Your technology is behind. Your ships are few. Your world has no allies of consequence. Han smiled faintly. It was small, and some translators struggled to express it properly. We have never needed allies to survive, he said. Only time. A low murmur spread. One council member, older and quieter than the rest, finally spoke. What exactly are you asking, Ambassador? Han looked toward them. I am asking you to reconsider. Not out of mercy. Out of caution, Larrick's expression hardened. The Council does not fear emerging species. You should, Han said. That did it. The chamber erupted with voices, overlapping in sharp outrage, insults, accusations of arrogance. Several council members demanded his removal. Larrick slammed his staff against the platform. The sound cracked through the noise. This session is concluded, he declared. The invasion proceeds. Earth has been warned. Guards moved closer to Han Juan, their forms tall and armored. Han did not resist as he was escorted away. As he walked, he spoke one last time, his voice calm, almost tired. You chose to invade Earth, he said. Remember that choice. The doors closed behind him. For a moment, the council chamber was silent. Then the laughter returned. Louder than before, far away, across empty space. Earth continued to turn. On its surface, Kong Doyon stood inside a command room filled with screens. Data flowed faster than any one person could follow. He listened quietly as reports came in, one after another. They voted, someone said. Kong nodded. I know. Nearby, Yun Myra adjusted a display, her face serious but steady. No delay? No, Kong replied. They're confident. Mira exhaled slowly. Good. Kong looked at her. Good, she nodded. Means they won't understand what happens next. Across the planet, in cities, mountains, and oceans, similar conversations were happening. Quiet ones. Practical ones. Humans did not scream. They prepared. Satellites shifted orbit. Old systems were powered back on. New code spread through hidden networks. Arguments stopped mid-sentence as priorities aligned. Without orders, did not panic, it remembered. And as the first alien fleet began its journey toward the Sol system, confidence filled their ships. They had voted. They had decided they did not yet understand what humans did when someone else made that choice for them. The alien fleet crossed into the outer edge of the Sol system with perfect order. Hundreds of ships moved like a single body, their paths clean and precise. To their commanders, this was already a victory. No alarms sounded on their bridges. No resistance appeared on their sensors. Earth was quiet. That silence pleased them. From the lead command vessel, Fleet Overseer Karth observed the system with calm confidence. The yellow star burned steadily ahead. Planets followed their predictable paths. Nothing about the system suggested danger. Human satellites are withdrawing, an officer reported. Their outer probes are shutting down. Karth nodded. Fear response. Another officer added, no transmissions. No challenge signals, expected, Karth said. They argue until the end. The fleet advanced. On Earth, deep beneath layers of stone and steel, Kongdoyan stood before a wide wall of screens. Each one showed a different part of the system. Dots of light marked alien ships. There were many of them, more than any single nation on Earth could face alone. Kong did not look afraid. "They've crossed the line," someone said softly. Kong nodded. "Begin Phase 1. No cheers followed the order. No dramatic music. Just movement. Across the planet, systems woke up that had not been used in years. Old satellites changed orbit. Civilian networks opened paths long hidden. Factories that once made harmless goods quietly shifted production. In a coastal city, Mira watched a simulation run again and again. She adjusted a single value and watched the outcome change. "Still clean," she said. A technician beside her frowned. "They won't see it?" Mira shook her head. "Not yet." High above Earth, the first alien scout ships moved closer. They scanned the planet carefully. Oceans, clouds, cities glowing with light. Life everywhere. "No planetary shield detected," a scout reported. "Primitive," another replied. They descended. The first landing zone was chosen for its simplicity. Flat land, low population, easy control. Dropships cut through the atmosphere, their hulls glowing briefly before cooling. They expected chaos. Hay found none. The land below was empty. Buildings stood abandoned. Roads clear. No crowds. No vehicles. The alien commander paused. "Where are the humans?" Sensors swept again. "Underground," an officer said. "Deep shelters." "Clever," the commander replied. "But useless." They deployed ground units. Moments later, the ground erupted. The explosion was not large, but it was precise. The soil collapsed beneath the lead unit, swallowing it whole. Before the commander could react, more detonations followed. Not bombs. Something else. The ground itself seemed to move. "Ambush," someone shouted. Human forces appeared only briefly. Small teams. Fast movement. No clear targets. They struck supply lines, not soldiers. Vehicles failed. Communications cut out in short bursts. Then returned filled with false signals. The alien commander tried to regain control. "Stabilize the perimeter," he ordered. The order did not travel far. On the command ship above, confusion spread. "We're losing ground units," an officer reported. "But there is no central human force." Karth frowned. "Explain." "They're not defending territory. They're attacking systems." Karth leaned forward. "That makes no sense." On Earth, Kong Doyen watched the results come in. "They're spreading out," a strategist said. "Trying to secure cities?" Kong nodded. "Let them." In a mountain region, a human team waited in silence. Li Sunha checked her equipment one last time. She was not a soldier. She was an engineer. But today, the difference did not matter. "Signal," someone whispered. Sunha nodded. 3 seconds. They moved. An alien relay tower went dark. Then another. Then 5 more, each falling without warning. The alien network tried to reroute. It failed. Above, alien ships began to drift slightly out of formation. "Navigation errors," an officer said. "Minor." But the errors grew. The fleet's perfect order started to bend. Karth felt irritation rise. "Increase control signals." "We are," the officer replied. "They're interfering." "How?" "We don't know." The answer was simple. Humans were not attacking with one method. They were using everything. Old satellites, civilian devices, weather data, even social networks, feeding alien systems information that looked real but was not. The aliens had prepared for weapons. They had not prepared for noise. On the ground, alien units advanced into a city that looked untouched. Lights were on. Screens still played old broadcasts. Food sat on tables. "It's a trap," an officer warned. "Yes," the commander replied. "But they must strike eventually." They did. Doors slammed shut. Streets shifted. Barriers rose from below ground. Human vehicles appeared from hidden paths, struck once, and vanished. The aliens fired back. Their shots hit empty air. Within hours, reports flooded the fleet. Supply loss, communication delay, unit missing. Karth stared at the data. "This is inefficient," he said. "Humans are wasting resources." But the losses continued. On Earth, Mira watched a new alert appear. "They're adapting," someone said. Mira nodded. "Of course they are. Phase 2? Not yet," she replied. "Let them think they understand." In orbit, an alien ship fired a warning shot toward an empty ocean. The blast sent waves rolling outward. No response. "Threaten a city," a commander suggested. Carta considered it. "Not yet. We need control, not fear." That delay mattered. Human space assets began to move. Small, fast objects with no clear purpose. They did not attack ships. They passed close, released clouds of debris, then vanished. "Debris field detected," an officer reported. "Clear it," Karth ordered. As ships adjusted course, more errors appeared. Earth's gravity, long mapped and studied, seemed to shift slightly. Nothing impossible. Just enough to cause problems. Karth finally realized something was wrong. "They're not fighting us," he said slowly. "They're shaping the battlefield." On Earth, Kong heard similar words spoken by a junior analyst. "Good," Kong said. "They're learning. And if they learn too fast?" Kang looked at the screen showing the fleet. "Then we change again." The first full day ended without a single major battle, but the alien fleet had lost ships. Not destroyed. Lost. Drifting. Silent. Useless. Messages were sent back to the Galactic Council. Calm at first, then careful, then confused, unexpected, resistance, human tactics, unclear, quest, further analysis. The Council received the reports with mild concern. "They always struggle at first," one counselor said. "Yes," another replied. "The humans will break out." On Earth, night passed quietly. People slept. Others worked. Children were told stories. Some of them were true. In a dark room, Han Juan watched a delayed feed from space. He stood alone now, far from the council chamber. He whispered to himself. "You never listened." Above Earth, the alien fleet slowed. For the first time since leaving their home systems, their confidence cracked. They still believed they would win. They just no longer believed it would be easy. Small gaps formed between ships. Timing delays appeared in simple commands. Nothing was broken beyond repair, but nothing felt smooth anymore. Fleet Overseer Karth watched the data in silence, his confidence slowly wearing thin. "Report," he said. An officer answered carefully. "We are regaining partial control of our networks. Human interference is irregular, not constant." "Meaning?" Karth asked. "They strike, then disappear. They do not hold position." Karth turned his gaze toward Earth, hanging blue and calm below. "They are avoiding confrontation," as the officer said. "It is inefficient," Karth agreed, "which means it is intentional." On Earth, Kong Doyan listened to similar reports. He stood with his arms crossed, watching a simulation run. "They're starting to think," a strategist said. Kong nodded. Kudyun Mira looked up from her screen. "They've restored part of their command net. We won't blind them much longer." "We don't need to," Kong replied. "We just need them uncertain." Uncertainty spread quickly. Alien ground forces pushed deeper into human territory, expecting stronger resistance. Instead, they found empty roads and silent cities. Power still worked. Water still flowed. But people were gone. "It feels wrong," an alien commander said. "Humans retreat," another replied. "This is surrender in stages." That belief lasted less than an hour. As alien units secured a transportation hub, their sensors began to fail. Not all at once. One by one. Heat readings vanished. Motion detection returned false positives. The air filled with harmless signals that meant nothing but demanded tension. Then the attack came. It was short, quiet, focused. Human teams struck from angles the aliens had marked as safe. They used weapons that left little trace. They took data, not territory. When alien reinforcements arrived, there was nothing left to fight. The hub remained standing, but it no longer worked. Above the planet, a cluster of alien ships attempted to stabilize orbit. Tiny objects struck their hulls. Not weapons, tools, anchors that altered movement just enough to cause strain. Minor damage, an officer said. Fix it, Karth replied. They're not damaging us, the officer added. They're slowing us, Karth clenched his hands. Why? The answer came from Earthkong Doyon. Watch the fleet's movement slow. They're burning time, he said. Mira nodded. Every hour they stay here, their supply lines stretch. Their command grows louder, not clearer, in the council. Someone asked, they'll wait, Kong said. They always do. In a desert region, alien forces finally met open resistance. Human armored units appeared on the horizon, clear and visible. There, an alien officer said with relief. Finally, they advanced. The battle was brief and violent. Human units struck hard, then fell back in perfect order. They left damaged vehicles behind, wounded soldiers. Clear signs of loss, the aliens cheered. We broke them, the commander said. He did not notice the markers placed quietly along the ground. Minutes later, the desert floor collapsed under the weight of alien armor. Not explosions. Controlled failure. The land itself had been prepared. Human forces did not return. The alien commander stared at the wreckage. This was planned, as an officer said softly. Days ago, across Earth, similar scenes played out. Every time aliens thought they had found a pattern, changed, they adapted. Humans adapted faster. In orbit, a human object finally struck an alien ship directly. It did not explode. It attached. What is it? Karth demanded. Unknown, an officer replied. It's broadcasting. The signal spread through the fleet before they could stop it. Not a virus. A message. Old human footage, disasters, wars, recoveries, over and over again. What is the purpose of this? Karth asked. The officer hesitated. It appears to be context. Karth watched cities burn on the screen, then be rebuilt. He saw humans digging through ruins, pulling others free. He saw conflict turn into cooperation, again and again. They are showing us their history, the officer said. No, Karth replied slowly. They are showing us their training. On Earth, Li Sunha stood inside a control room, far from the front lines. Her hands moved quickly over a console. Relay collapse confirmed, she said. A technician smiled. That makes 12. Suna did not smile back. They'll reroute, as the technician agreed. But slower, Sunha leaned back. She was tired. Everyone was. On the Galactic Council's home world, new reports arrived. This time, the tone had changed. Losses exceed projections. Human behavior inconsistent with models. Request guidance. Council chamber was quieter than before. They are. Exaggerating, one counselor said. Another was not so sure. The fleet has stalled. Lorek listened without speaking. They have not even attacked the planet properly, a counselor argued. Why delay? Larek finally spoke. Because they are being delayed. Tetha Council turned toward him. Humans are not defending their world, Larek continued. They are exhausting our patience. That is not a strategy, someone said. It is, Larek replied. If your enemy expects fear, back in space. Karth received a new report. Civilian traffic detected, an officer said. Human ships, armed. No, cargo vessels. Medical ships. They moved openly, calmly, tending damaged human areas even as the invasion continued. They are not hiding anymore, Karth said. No, the officer replied. They are working. A disturbed Karth more than any weapon on Earth. Kong watched the same feeds. They're confused, someone said. Kong nodded. Good. How long can we keep this up? As long as it takes, Kong said. We're not trying to win today. The alien fleet attempted its first major show of force. Several ships fired into unoccupied land, creating massive destruction. The images spread quickly. Human response was immediate, but not violent. Emergency teams moved in. Aid ships followed. Cameras recorded everything. The alien commanders waited for panic. It did not come. Instead, the human network filled with calm instructions, shelter locations, medical advice, messages of unity. The aliens watched in disbelief. They are using the attack, an officer said, to organize. Karth felt something unfamiliar tighten in his chest. They turned damage into order. Yes, the officer said. They always have. It's that night for the first time. An alien ship withdrew from low orbit without orders. Another followed. Not retreat. Rest. The fleet was tired. On Earth, the humans noticed. They're slowing, Mira said. Kong nodded. So are we. But we planned for it, she added. Yes, Kong replied. They didn't. Far above the planet, Karth stared at Earth and finally understood the warning he had ignored. Humans did not rush. They endured. An endurance. He realized too late was a weapon the galaxy had never learned to measure. After days of delay and confusion, Fleet Overseer Karth ordered a full-pressure advance. Ships moved closer to Earth. Ground forces received new instructions. This time, there would be no slow control. They would strike hard and force a reaction. Humans avoid direct battle, Karth said. We will deny them that comfort. Orbital weapons powered up. On Earth, warning systems lit across command centers. They're escalating. An analyst said Kong Doyon watched the data without surprise. They were always going to. Yoon Mira stood beside him. Targets. Industrial zones. Old military sites. Places we already emptied, Kong replied. Mira nodded. Then let them burn ghosts. The first strikes fell like falling suns. Entire regions shook. Mountains cracked. Oceans rose and fell in great waves. The destruction was real. The fear was not. Human civilians were already gone. Shelters held millions. Supplies were deep and spread wide. The alien commanders waited for chaos. What they received, instead, were clean reports. Damage. Contained. Civilian loss. Minimal. Response. Ongoing. Karth stared at the updates. Impossible. They planned for this, an officer said. Yes, Karth replied. But planning has limits. He ordered ground forces forward. Alien troops entered a large city at dawn. Smoke still rose from nearby impacts. The streets were damaged but clear. Buildings stood silent. They must be hiding nearby, an officer said. Search everything, the commander ordered. As units spread out, the city woke up. Lights turned on. Doors opened. Screens activated. Then the streets shifted. Concrete plates lifted. Walls slid apart. Hidden paths opened and closed. The city was not a battlefield. It was a machine. Alien units became separated. Human voices filled the air, calm and steady. Zone closed. Route denied. Please stand still. The messages were translated automatically. That made them worse. Alien soldiers fired at speakers and screens. It changed nothing. Human teams moved like shadows. They did not charge. They did not shout. They disabled armor joints, power packs, sensors, one by one. Alien soldiers fell. Not dead, captured. Above the city, Karth received the report. They are taking prisoners. He asked. Yes, an officer said. In large numbers? Why? The officer hesitated. Unknown. On Earth, Kong watched the feeds. They expected fear, Mira said. Kong nodded. So did the Council. Instead, we're setting terms. Across the planet, humans revealed more of what they had hidden. Swarms of small machines rose into the sky. Not fighters, builders, repair units, shield projectors. In orbit, human satellites formed new patterns. Some were old, some were civilian. All of them worked together. Alien sensors struggled to keep up. They're creating layered defense, an officer said. With civilian assets, another added. That should be impossible. Karth's voice was cold. They do not separate civilian and military. The officer agreed. They separate threat and non-threat. Distinction mattered. An alien ship attempted to fire on a human medical station in orbit. The weapon did not. Fired systems failed all at once. A human message appeared on the screen. Protected zone. The ship drifted. Karth slammed his hand against the console. How? They predicted our firing windows, an officer said, and blocked them. Karth felt anger rise. Then we overwhelmed them. He ordered more ships forward. That was the moment Earth responded in full. Objects moved from the asteroid belt. Large ones. Carefully guided, they're altering orbits, an officer shouted. Karth's eyes widened. Intercept them. Alien ships moved to comply too slowly. The asteroids did not strike the fleet. They passed close, dragging massive gravity waves behind them. Space bent. Orbits shifted. Fleet formations broke apart. This is reckless, an officer said. No, Karth replied quietly. This is controlled. On Earth, Lee Sunha watched the data with tight focus. Trajectory stable, she said. A senior engineer beside her nodded. They'll never try this again, Sunha exhaled. They shouldn't have tried us at all. The alien fleet scattered. Not destroyed? Forced apart. Human ships appeared then. Not many. Enough. They did not fire. They broadcast images-filled alien displays. Human cities. Daily life. Children studying. Workers rebuilding damaged areas, and then images of captured alien soldiers, treated, fed, medically, cared for. A message followed. You are not our enemy, the translation read. But you are on our home. Karth stared at the screen. They think this will stop us, an officer said. Karth did not answer. On the Galactic Council's world, emergency lights filled the chamber. This has gone too far, the counselor said. They are humiliating the fleet, another added. Larique remained silent. Authorize full force, someone demanded. Wipe the planet. Larique finally spoke. And lose what remains of control? They are a threat, a counselor argued. Yes, Larique agreed. Because we treated them like prey. The room fell quiet. Back near Earth, Karth received new orders. Hold position, the message said. Await council decision. Karth laughed softly. They finally noticed. On Earth, Kong received the same update through indirect channels. They're pausing, an analyst said. Kong nodded. That's not peace, Mira said. That's doubt. In the cities, humans continued to work. Repair, care. Prepare. No celebrations, no victory speeches, just steady motion. Alien soldiers sat in human facilities, guarded but unharmed. Some spoke with their captors, asked questions, received honest answers. One alien asked a human guard, "Why not kill us?" The guard shrugged. "Because you'll go home." "After this?" "Yes," the guard said, "and you'll remember." In orbit, Karth looked at Earth one last time before. The pause order fully took effect. He felt something he had never felt before in battle. Respect not. Fear, respect born from understanding. Humans had not shown their full strength. They had shown control, and that, Karth realized, was far more dangerous. The invasion had not failed, but it had stopped moving forward, and for the first time since the vote, the galaxy was no longer sure who was deciding what happened next. Alien ships held their positions at varying distances from Earth, scattered and uneven. Supply lines stretched thin. Orders came slower now, filtered through debate and delay. Fleet Overseer Karth felt the weight of waiting settle over every deck. Waiting favored humans. On Earth. Kong Doyan treated the pause as another phase. Nothing stops, he said quietly. We just move differently. Yunmira nodded. They're watching everything. Let them, Kong replied. Across the planet, human systems continued to shift. Repairs finished faster than expected. New structures appeared where damage had been. The flow of people remained calm and organized. The alien fleet watched it all. They rebuild while under threat, an officer said. Yes, Karth replied. And they do not hide it. Human broadcasts spread beyond Earth now. Not messages of pride or warning. Simple records. Daily life. Work shifts. Medical care. Education continuing in shelters. Alien analysts struggled to understand the purpose. They are not showing strength, one said. They are, another replied. Just not the kind we expected. On the Galactic Council's world, tension filled the chamber. The laughter was gone. Reports stacked high, each one worse than the last. Invasion stalled. Fleet cohesion reduced. Human response stable.
Counselors?
Argued openly now. This is an embarrassment, one shouted. Is a mistake, another said. We underestimated them. Lorek listened, unmoving. They took prisoners, a counselor said. They broadcasted. Yes, Lorek replied. Because they want us to see. To see what? That they can stop, Lorek said. And choose not to end it. Silence followed. That is not mercy, someone said. That is manipulation. Yes, Lorek agreed. And it is effective. Back near Earth, an alien ship finally broke the pause. Without orders, it fired a single shot toward a human orbital platform. The platform was damaged. Several humans were injured. The response was immediate. Human ships surrounded the alien vessel. Not weapons first, Locks. Systems froze. A human voice filled the alien bridge. This action breaks the pause, translation said. Stand down. The alien captain hesitated. Then human weapons powered up. Not aimed at the ship, aimed at space around it. Clear. Precise. A warning. The alien ship powered down. The message spread through the fleet. They will answer, an officer said. Every time. Karth nodded slowly. And only enough. It scared him more than full retaliation. On Earth, Kong watched the incident replay. They're testing lines, Mira said. And learning where they are? Kong replied. Later that day, alien envoys requested contact, not surrender, conversation. The request moved carefully through human channels before reaching Kong. They want terms. Someone asked. They want understanding, Kong said. Terms come later. The meeting did not happen face-to-face. It happened through distance. Screens and layers of security. Karda appeared on one side of the connection. His posture was formal, but his voice carried fatigue. You are holding our soldiers. He said yes, Kong replied. They are safe. You could return them. We will, Kong said. When this ends? Karth paused. You assume it will. Kong met his gaze. It already has. You just haven't said it yet. The silence stretched. You are not afraid, Karth said. We are careful, Kong replied. Karth exhaled. The council did not expect this, no, Kong agreed. They expected panic. They expected surrender, Karth added. Yes, Kong said. They always do. The connection ended without resolution, but something had changed. Alien commanders began issuing new orders. Less aggressive. More cautious, they stopped expanding. They began consolidating. On Earth, Mira noticed the shift. They're pulling back slightly. She said. Kong nodded. They're protecting themselves. That's not victory, she said. No, Kong replied. It's survival instinct. Across human networks, the phrase began to spread quietly. You chose to invade Earth. It's not as a threat, as a statement. Captured alien soldiers heard it too. Some asked what it meant. A human medic, answered one. It means this didn't have to happen, she said. But now it does. The alien looked confused. You will destroy us? The medic shook her head. No, you'll go home. And then you'll remember, she said, in the council chamber. Pressure reached a breaking point. We must decide, a counselor demanded. Escalate or withdraw, Lorek stood. When we voted, he said, we believed Earth was weak because it was divided. He looked around the chamber. We were wrong, murmurs followed. They are not united by command, Lorek continued. They are united by response. That can still be broken, someone argued. Yes, Lorek said. By time, and we are losing it. The council fell silent. Back in space, Karth watched human ships continue their calm patrols. He saw repair drones working, even near alien positions. It's unarmed and unafraid. They trust us not to strike, an officer said. No, Karth replied. They trust themselves to answer. That night, another message arrived from Earth. Not a threat, an offer. Withdraw your fleets, it said. Return our sky. Take your soldiers home. There will be no pursuit. Karth read it twice. They are giving us a way out, the officer said. Yes, Karth replied. Without humiliation? Should we accept? Karth looked at Earth one more time. Cities glowing softly. Movement steady and calm. They never fought like we expected, he said. No, the officer agreed. They fought like this was home, Karth said. He sent his response to the council. Back on Earth? Kang watched the fleet hold position, waiting. Mira stood beside him. They're deciding, yes, Kong said. And if they choose wrong? Kong's voice remained calm. Then we remind them why this choice mattered. What? Above them all, the galaxy waited, for the first time in a long time. The decision was no longer in the council's hands, it was in humanity's restraint. And everyone could feel it, not because the council needed time to understand, but because admitting fear took longer than feeling it. The alien fleet remained in place. Engines warm, weapons idle. Messages passed back and forth between ships, careful and measured. Fleet Overseer Karth waited for orders that did not arrive. On Earth, Kang Doyan noticed the stillness. They're stuck, Mira said quietly. Yes, Kang replied. Between pride and survival, space was dangerous. Human command treated it with care. No advances, no taunts, only readiness. Captured alien. Soldiers continued to receive medical care. Some were allowed limited communication with their fleet. Monitored and open, they want to know why, a human officer reported. Let them ask, Kong said. One alien prisoner sat across from a human guard in a simple room. You could end us, the alien said. The guard shrugged. That wouldn't teach anything. Then what is this? This is memory, the guard replied. Above Earth, a human ship escorted a damaged alien cruiser away from orbit. Not as a threat. As assistance, the message spread fast. They are helping us withdraw, an alien officer said in disbelief. Karth closed his eyes briefly. They are controlling the ending. On the Galactic Council's world, the chamber filled again, this time. No one laughed. We cannot continue, one counselor said. The cost is growing. We still outnumber them. Another argued. Yes, Larrick said. And yet we hesitate. The council turned toward him. Hesitation means we already lost the initiative, Lorette continued. Humans took it from us without striking the final blow. Counselor slammed a limb against the floor. Then what do you propose? Larrick's voice was steady. Withdrawal. Outrage followed. We cannot retreat from an undeveloped world. Our authority will collapse. Lorek waited until the noise faded. Our authority collapses if we stay, he said, because others are watching. That truth settled heavily back near Earth. Karth finally received the order. Begin stage withdrawal, the message read. Maintain dignity. Avoid further engagement. Karth exhaled. Yes, he said softly. That is wise. Alien ships began to move, slowly, carefully. Human systems tracked every motion. They're pulling back. An analyst confirmed. Kong nodded. Hold position. Mira glanced at him. No pursuit? No, Kong replied. Let them leave clean. The withdrawal was not smooth. Damaged ships struggled. Navigation errors returned as gravity shifted back to normal. Human escorts appeared where needed. Silent. Professional. An alien captain stared at a human ship. Guiding his vessel, you could destroy us, he said. Yes, came the reply. But then you wouldn't tell the story correctly. It mattered. As alien ships left Earth space, human satellites returned to normal orbits. Civilian traffic resumed openly. Life continued. On Earth's surface, shelters opened. People returned to cities. Repairs finished. Children walked streets that had been battlegrounds days before. There were scars, but no panic. Kong stood in a quiet room, watching feeds of alien ships departing. It's over, someone said. Kong shook his head. No, it's remembered. Mira nodded. That's worse. In space, Karth watched Earth grow smaller. He recorded a final report. Humans did not seek victory, he said. They sought control of outcome. They avoided escalation when possible and answered every violation with precision. He paused. They are not aggressive by nature, he continued, but they are absolute in defense. The report went to the council, so did something else. Stories. Alien soldiers spoke of human medics. Of calm voices during capture. Of restraint, the narrative shifted. On the council's world, the chamber received the first full withdrawal confirmation. The fleet is clear of Earth's space. An aide announced. Silence followed. Lorek closed his eyes. We voted, he said, and we were wrong, some counselors protested. Others said nothing. Lorek raised his head. This decision will echo, yes, someone replied. Against us, or for us, Lorek said. If we learn, back on Earth, Han Juan stood before a small assembly. No flags, no grand stage. He spoke simply. They are leaving, he said. Not because we destroyed them, but because we showed them who decides here. A reporter asked, Is the galaxy now our enemy? Han shook his head. No, fear is fading. Respect is replacing it. And if they return, Han's answer was calm. Then they already know the cost. In space, the last alien ship crossed the boundary of the soul. System human tracking followed until it vanished into distance. Then, systems stood down. Not completely. Never. Completely. Kong issued final orders. Maintain readiness. Resume normal cycles. Mira smiled faintly. Normal changed, as Kong agreed. For everyone. On distant worlds, observers replayed the conflict, not battles, decisions, the restraint, the patience, the quiet certainty. A phrase began to spread through diplomatic channels. You chose to invade Earth. It was no longer a warning, it was history, and history, once written, does not ask permission before teaching its lesson. After the alien fleet withdrew, silence spread through the stars. Trade routes paused. Patrols changed course. Messages slowed as every power tried to understand what had happened. Earth did not celebrate. On the surface, people rebuilt what was damaged. Workers repaired roads and power lines. Engineers checked systems again and again. Children returned to schools that had never truly closed. Life continued. That was the point, Kong. Doyon stood in the same command room where the first alerts had appeared. Most screens were dark now. A few showed routine traffic. It feels quiet, someone said. Kong nodded. Quiet means we did our job. Yoon Mira leaned against a console. The council hasn't spoken. They will, Kong replied. They need time. Time passed. Across distant systems, alien governments reviewed the data. Not battle footage, but patterns, delays, restraint, choice. They noticed what humans did not do. They did not chase. They did not punish. They did not demand. tribute that confused many. On the Galactic Council's world, the chamber filled once more. This time, security was heavier. Observers watched from hidden places. La Rek stood at the center. "The invasion of Earth has ended," he said. No cheers, no protest, just attention. "Our decision was based on old measures of power," Lorek continued. "Fleet size, age, unity." He looked around the chamber. "Earth showed us another measure," a counselor asked. "Control." "Yes," Lorek replied. "And restraint," another counselor spoke sharply. "They humiliated us." "No," Lorek said. "They instructed us." That word carried weight. "They could have destroyed the fleet," Lorek continued. "Instead, they returned it." "They could have spread fear," another counselor said. "Instead, they spread routine." Silence followed. "We underestimated them," someone said. "Yes," Lorek agreed. "And now others will not." A vote was called, not for war, for recognition, back on Earth. Han Juan received the request for formal dialogue. He read it once, then again. "They want to talk," an aide said. Han nodded. "They always do after they listen." The meeting took place through secure channels. No threats. No raised voices. Larek appeared on the screen. "Ambassador Han," he said, "Earth has forced the Council to reconsider its assumptions." Han's voice was calm. "Earth did not force anything. You chose." Lorek accepted that. "Then we choose again." Terms were discussed, not surrender, boundaries. Earth's space was declared sovereign and protected. Preemptive invasion of developing worlds was restricted. Humanity was given a new classification, reactive. Apex species, the word spread quickly. On Earth. The public reacted quietly. No parades, no banners, just understanding. Mira read the classification and shook her head. "They still don't get us." Kong smiled slightly. "They got enough." Captured alien soldiers were returned, not all at once, with care. Each one left with records. Medical files. Clear memories. One alien commander paused before boarding his ship. "You didn't need to be kind," he said to a human officer. The officer replied. "We didn't need to be cruel." It stayed with him as ships departed. Human escorts peeled away one by one. No pursuit, no final warning, just space on distant worlds. The story changed. It was no longer about an invasion. It was about a mistake. You chose to invade Earth. It became a phrase used in council debates, a reminder, a caution. On Earth, readiness never vanished. Systems remained active. Plans stayed updated, but people slept easier. Kong walked outside for the first time in days. The sky was clear. "Stars visible. They'll be watching us," Mira said beside him. "Yes," Kong replied. "So will others." "Does that worry you?" Kong shook his head. "No. It keeps everyone honest." Weeks later, the first alien civilian ship arrived peacefully at the edge of Earth's space. Trade, not control. Human traffic met it. HalfwayCareful.com. Han Juan observed the exchange from afar. "We didn't join the galaxy," an aide said. "The galaxy adjusted to us." "Ah," Han nodded. "That's better. Far from Earth." Lorek watched the same. Reports, "We thought they were fragile," he said too. Himself, he remembered Han's. Warning, humanity adapts. The galaxy had seen. Proof, not through fire, through choice. Earth remained what it had always been. Loud, divided, creative. But when the stars looked down at it now, they saw something new. A world. They did not rush to dominate, a species that did. Not need permission to endure. And a lesson written quietly into galactic memory. You chose to invade. Earth and the galaxy learned why that choice would never be made lightly again.